You're on a late-night flight. The seat next to you, occupied by a stranger who seems friendly, until he tells you he's going to kill your father.
Tell the flight attendant and your dad dies.
Unless you help him assassinate someone. Welcome to Redeye, Netflix's hidden thriller gem from 2005. Directed by horror legend Wes Craven, Redeye is a fast-paced, claustrophobic thriller. Rachel McAdams plays Lisa, a hotel manager heading home on a red-eye flight. She meets Jackson Ripner, played by Cillian Murphy, who seems charming at first. But once the plane takes off, he reveals his true motive. He's part of a political assassination plot, and Lisa, she's the key to making it happen. If she doesn't cooperate, her father will be murdered. Most of the movie takes place in just one location, the airplane cabin, and that's what makes it terrifying. No place to run, no way to call for help. You're stuck 30,000 feet in the air with a killer. Cillian Murphy flips between charm and menace like it's second nature. One second, he's smiling. The next, he's ice cold. Rachel McAdams brings grit and vulnerability, turning her character into a survivor, not a victim. The movie is only 85 minutes long, but it wastes zero time. In 2025, Redeye has landed on Netflix and is gaining traction all over again. It's being rediscovered as a tight, underrated suspense classic. Quick to watch, easy to recommend, impossible to forget. Redeye proves you don't need explosions or plot twists every 5 minutes to keep an audience on edge.
What can I do for you?
She's just had a really rough day. The death of the family.
Just two strong leads, one terrifying situation, and nowhere to escape. Would you survive this flight? Let us know in the comments. You're stuck at home. House arrest. Nothing to do but stare out the window. Until you start noticing your neighbor might be a killer. Welcome to Disturbia, a suburban thriller that turns boredom into pure paranoia. Released in 2007, Disturbia blends mystery, suspense, and teen drama. Shia LaBeouf plays Cale, a teenager under house arrest after a run-in with the law. He passes the time spying on his neighbors, just for fun. But one night, he sees something he shouldn't have. Strange movements, screams, a neighbor with a dark secret. Suddenly, his lazy summer turns into a deadly investigation, and Cale can't exactly leave the house to escape. Most of the tension happens through windows, binoculars, and late-night stakeouts. The closer Cale gets to the truth, the more dangerous it becomes. Every knock on the door could be his last. Shia LaBeouf brings charm and reckless energy. Sarah Romer plays Ashley, the new girl next door who gets pulled into the danger. And David Morse, as the creepy neighbor, he's unsettling enough to make you check your own blinds. The movie keeps the stakes tight, combining teenage rebellion with genuine, edge-of-your-seat suspense. In 2025, Disturbia is back in the spotlight thanks to a streaming revival. It's perfect for fans of Rear Window-style mysteries with a modern, youthful twist. A quick watch, a slow burn, and a finale that makes you hold your breath. Disturbia reminds us that danger doesn't always knock from far away. Sometimes it's living right across the street. Would you spy on your neighbors if it meant risking your life? Tell us in the comments. You grow up on the same street. 3 childhood friends. One summer day, everything changes. A boy is taken. A tragedy that scars them forever. Decades later, they're brought back together. Not by choice, but by another violent crime. Welcome to Mystic River, Clint Eastwood's haunting 2003 drama, where past trauma collides with present-day murder. Sean Penn, Tim Robbins, and Kevin Bacon play 3 men whose lives have gone in very different directions. But when Sean Penn's daughter is murdered, the investigation drags up secrets they all tried to bury. Kevin Bacon is the detective on the case. Tim Robbins? Haunted by the childhood abduction that shattered him. And Sean Penn? A grieving father consumed by rage. As suspicion grows, friendship, loyalty, and guilt twist into something darker. Mystic River isn't about car chases or explosions. It's about silence, about looks that linger too long, and questions nobody wants answered. Sean Penn delivers one of the rawest performances of his career. Tim Robbins embodies a broken man caught between innocence and suspicion, and Kevin Bacon anchors the story with quiet intensity. The tension isn't who did it, it's what does justice even look like when everyone is guilty of something. In 2025, Mystic River is finding new audiences on streaming. It's being rediscovered as a masterclass in acting and atmosphere. The film earned 6 Oscar nominations. Sean Penn and Tim Robbins both walked away with Academy Awards. And more than 20 years later, it still feels as heavy and unshakable as the day it premiered. Would you confront your past or try to bury it forever? You're walking down a busy New York street. You step into a phone booth to make a quick call. The phone rings, you answer, and the voice on the other end, it says,
Don't even think about leaving that booth.
Wrong number, pal.
I'm aiming at you right now. Can you feel it?
"Welcome to Phone Booth," a 2000s thriller that traps you in one place and never lets you breathe. Directed by Joel Schumacher, Phone Booth is a real-time suspense ride. Colin Farrell plays Stu Shepard, a slick publicist full of lies, excuses, and charm. He steps into a Manhattan phone booth for what looks like a normal call. But then the booth rings. And when Stu answers, a calm but chilling voice tells him, "You hang up, you die." The man on the other end, a sniper, watching Stu through a scope, knowing every detail about his life, and forcing him to confess his sins, with a rifle pointed at his chest. Most of the movie happens in one claustrophobic location, that tiny glass booth. Crowds gather outside, police surround him, the media swarms, but Stu can't move, can't leave, can't even explain. Every lie he's told is now being ripped open in public. Colin Farrell gives one of the most intense performances of his career, sweaty, desperate, unraveling, minute by minute. And Kiefer Sutherland's voice as the sniper, calm, cold, terrifying. You never see him for most of the film, and that makes it even worse. At just 81 minutes long, Phone Booth doesn't waste a second. It's lean, it's relentless, and it squeezes tension out of the simplest idea. What if you couldn't hang up the phone? In 2025, Phone Booth is finding a new life on streaming. It's being rediscovered as one of the sharpest, high-concept thrillers of the early 2000s. Simple setup, big suspense, and zero room to escape. Just one actor, one voice, and one impossible situation. Would you be able to survive the call? 7 days, 7 deadly sins, and a killer who turns morality into murder. Welcome to Seven, David Fincher's chilling masterpiece that asks, how far would you go to find justice when the killer is always one step ahead? 2 detectives, worlds apart. Detective Somerset, played by Morgan Freeman, is weary, methodical, and days away from retirement. Detective Mills, played by Brad Pitt, is brash, impulsive, and desperate to prove himself. Their final case? A series of gruesome murders, each inspired by one of the 7 deadly sins. Gluttony, greed, sloth, lust, pride, envy, wrath. But this isn't a standard whodunit. It's a slow descent into darkness, where the city itself feels like a character, grim, rain-soaked, and hopeless. What makes Seven terrifying isn't just the killer's methods. It's the patience, the precision, the belief that these murders are a lesson to the world. Kevin Spacey's John Doe appears late in the film, but his presence haunts every frame. When he finally arrives, it's not with chaos, but with chilling calm. And that's what makes him unforgettable. This is a movie about obsession, about morality, about the lengths people will go to when justice feels impossible. And as the sins pile up, the line between hunter and hunted begins to blur. Nearly 30 years later, Seven remains one of the most unsettling thrillers ever made. It's not flashy, it's not filled with action, it's a methodical unraveling of human nature at its worst. Dark, uncompromising, and utterly unforgettable. And of course, the ending. One of the most shocking, debated, and iconic conclusions in film history. No spoilers here. If you know, you know. Seven isn't just a thriller. It's a descent into the abyss. The kind of movie you watch once and never shake off. Would you open the box?